Hello everybody, it's Elaine here, the Animal Reiki Lady, and today we are going to be talking very specifically about pet loss and preparing for pet loss. But first of all, I'm coming to you with all of my normal entourage. I've got Winston, who I keep very close to my heart here, Lucy, who's right behind me. Lucy and Winston both passed to the Rainbow Bridge back in August of 2020, and Jack, my other senior, who's still with us here on planet Earth, always sleeping during our videos, but he's over there, and we're all here to say hello to you. And for those of you who may be catching this for the very first time, my name is Elaine. I'm the Animal Reiki Lady. I help people build really deep spiritual, emotional, energetic connections with their animal companions, and that includes animal companions who have crossed the Rainbow Bridge and animal companions who may be preparing for end of life to cross the Rainbow Bridge. Now, I know that talking about pet loss is not always an easy thing, but having been through it myself, in fact, for those of you who do know, Lucy and Winston passed within a week of each other, and Lucy was an animal companion, my 13-year-old black lab, who crossed with great care. She was 13 years old, and our veterinarian, myself, and Lucy all worked together to ease her end of life and to help her and to assist her in her transition. Winston, on the other hand, Winston was a rescue, and we weren't 100% sure of his age. We're thinking about 11 or 12. He crossed on his own without any assistance. So I know from personal experience this year both sides of the coin, and that's why especially Lucy, inspires me now to share this information with you to help other people who may be going through something similar. So today we're going to be talking about preparing for pet loss. I say that I help people prepare for and cope with pet loss. So if your animal companion has crossed to the Rainbow Bridge and you're feeling that intense grief and you're not sure what to do, and you've got the guilt and the remorse and all these things going on, don't ever hesitate to reach out, because I can help you and offer some tools and some suggestions. This particular video is about helping people who might be preparing for pet loss. What does that mean to prepare for the loss of our animal companion? It means that we can do some things that are proactive. Why do we even want to do that? So let's recognize first off, our animals live much shorter lifespans than us. We don't want that to be so. We want them to spend every minute of our lifetime with us, but it just doesn't work that way. And I've thought about this a lot, about why that is. Why do our animals live such shorter lives? And I think that there's a combination of things. They come here to share something with us. Every single animal, I always say this too, every single animal comes into our life for a reason. And our animal companions are here to help us, to teach us, to love us. And I think they come here already full of so much love. Like, it feels like it takes us decades to get to the point of acceptance and love that they come to us with from the very second that they're born. So that's part of why I think they live such a short life. They also become part of our family. I don't know about you guys, although I suspect, especially if you're following any of these videos, that your animal companions are as much a part of your family as any other human family member. Jack, who's always by my side. And so we need to prepare. And since we know their life is going to be so much shorter than us, there are things we can do, especially as our animal, if our animal companion is, and I keep saying animal companion because it could be cat, it could be dog, it could be horse, it could be guinea pig, it doesn't matter. Whichever animal is sharing your life right now, they could be diagnosed with terminal illness, they could be naturally aging, they could be experiencing age-related illness, or in Lucy's case, it wasn't so much age-related illness as it was her actual aging. She began to lose control of her bodily function. She had a lot of difficulty walking. She was in pain. She didn't always enjoy her food, that kind of thing. And so how can we help them when they get to that point? Because we're not only helping them, we're helping us. We're helping ourselves too. All right, so I've made myself a couple notes. Let me take a look at this because I want to make sure that I cover all of the topics. Okay, the first thing that preparing. So let's just say that you either have an animal companion who is reaching end of life by age or from terminal illness. You can maintain a level of control. It's so easy to feel out of control. It's easy to give into the grief. It's easy to give into the helplessness, that feeling that we get that if, I'll give you the example from beautiful Roxy. Roxy is one of my beautiful clients, and Roxy was recently diagnosed with a terminal illness, and she only has a few weeks before her body will most likely give out. There is that immediate sense of spinning out of control. We don't even want to think about that end. Only a few weeks from now, we just don't even want to consider that. But what an amazing time that you can create the most loving relationship and help them in a way that you can't even possibly begin to fathom until you feel it. And this is what happened between Lucy and I, because I did have the chance to prepare. It gives you a level of control by being proactive. So there are some steps you can take. You don't need to sit idly by. Your veterinarian is a wonderful medical resource for the physical needs of your animal companion. But what about the emotional, spiritual, energetic needs of both you and your pet? So one thing to do is to become proactive. It gives you a sense of control. It lets you have some type of impact. You can actually do something to help ease their pain and their confusion. And that's the next topic. So what happens when an animal becomes that ill, or in Lucy's case with her aging? There's pain, which causes them confusion. They're not quite sure what's going on. Their body's letting them down. They also sense your emotions and your pain and your grief and confusion. So what we try to do is reduce stress. When we know that this is going to happen, you know what? If you have to give into it for a day or two and crawl under the covers and don't come out, perfectly fine. But come out on the other side with a plan to help your animal as they go through this transition, because that's exactly what it is, a transition. We've talked about this before. You have ice cubes, you've got water, you've got steam. It's all some form of H2O, and it just goes through a cycle, and it's a shift of energy from one place to another. And I know that's a topic for another day. Where do our animals go when they transition? But as we help them transition, what we can do is reduce stress. Our reaction to them, their body's functions, the pain that they may be feeling, any medication that they may be on, trips to the veterinarian, all raise their stress level. And when we all know this as human beings, right? When our stress level gets up here, it becomes harder for us to manage. So we try to help them manage. And we can do this. I'm an animal Reiki master, an animal Reiki practitioner. What I do with that, and don't worry, this is not all hairy-fairy, I call it, when it comes to sharing this space of energetic compassion and love with our animals. It is about quieting our minds and opening our heart. And what I do is think, use my thoughts, use my imagination, control my emotions, focus on the emotion of love, and what it does is help ease their stress. If you can hear it in my voice right now, when I think of this, when I think of going to this space, I feel physically in my heart that I'm just opening love. I'm letting them know that they're safe, that they are cared for, that they have no worries, that they're on a beautiful journey, that I am here. I would tell this to Lucy all the time. I'm right by her side. I will help her. I will be there for her. She doesn't have to go through this alone. And oh my gosh, on her last day when we prepared, I'm getting ahead because that's something else that we can do. So one thing to do is focus on the positive emotions. If you can get past even just a little bit, some of the grief and stress that you might be feeling, that helps your animal remain calm. And when they sense your calm and your peace, they also feel that. They're very sensitive. All of our animal companions are amazingly, incredibly sensitive and wise to energy and emotion and stress. So when we can quiet ourselves, we help them. So when I would sit with Lucy. I'll just use Lucy as the example. And I keep my little memorial for her. I would sit with Lucy every single day for just a few minutes in the morning, letting her know how beautiful she was, how good things were, how much fun we've always had, and that I'm right there for her by her side as she goes through every step of the day. I would not get angry with her. So let's just say that she was unable to control her bowels. I would not ever get angry with her. I would tell her it's all good, it's all natural, easy to clean up, and we would continue about our day. The other thing that you can do is just allow yourself to flow with the process. And if you feel a need to grieve, just go aside, let that go. Try not to let your animal see some of that pain and anxiety that you may be feeling. Now, here's something else. I'm just going to share this with you guys. I contacted my beautiful friend Melissa. Melissa is an herbalist, and I just was letting her know what was going on with Lucy. And as an herbalist, she knows what I know about animals. She knows about plants and trees and everything. And she sent to me this beautiful little. It's just a little dropper. I would put this in Lucy's mouth every day with her food. It was just this little flower essence, is what it's called. It was a flower essence, and it just it helped her, much like CBD oil, right? Okay, so that's the kind of the way that it worked. It's natural plant essences is what was in here. Something that I could do. It also helped me by being able to feel that I was helping her with something proactive. So in addition to any medication that she might have had from the veterinarian, I also was able to offer her something that I thought was natural and homeopathic. So I approach this from a completely holistic perspective. I look at when we prepare for our animal to transition, we are using veterinary care, I'm using spiritual care, emotional care, holistic care, whatever it is that you can do. And I know that you feel this. I know that you want to do this too. Whatever I could possibly do to help ease Lucy's pain is exactly what I did. And in that process, it helped ease my pain. So I focus on the love. I try not to focus on the grief. And then the other thing that I recommend to you is to consider putting together a ceremony. If you have the time and you have the advance notice, you're preparing, you're being proactive about your animal companion's eventual transition, come up with a little ceremony. So on Lucy's last day, we had a beautiful ceremony, and we sat outside under a tree, and I've done this with a couple of my clients as well. We sat outside under a tree. Lucy had her head in my lap. We had a beautiful ceremony. Some people like to do things like crystals, crystal bowls. They had sound healing, all that kind of stuff. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Whatever feels good for you is what you'd want to do. Create a little ceremony, create a little space. Lucy knew how much she was loved. She was surrounded by everybody who loved her. We were all prepared. That's not to say there weren't tears. I promise you, we cried copious tears. And it was all good though, because it was so filled with love. And Lucy was with 4 of us. She was right there with all the people that she loved. We had, with my own daily, I meditate. I'll say it's the M word. I know some people go, meditate, what? I sat quietly with Lucy in a conscious space and shared love with her. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to meditation. So I created this little ceremony for her on her last day, and it was beautiful. And we sat under the tree, and the sun was shining, and my veterinarian was wonderful, and we were all with her. And when she passed, it was sad, but it was beautiful because it was filled with love. And I know, and I can assure you, that she was moving on. We call it the Rainbow Bridge because our little human brains can't wrap our minds around that our beautiful animal companions are going to this space where they are just forever free of pain. They just become part of pure positive love again. Sorry, I'm making myself just a smidge emotional now. So that's what I want to tell you. You can prepare, and if you need help preparing, please reach out to me. If you know anybody who may be experiencing this, I am happy to help. I just love helping people understand that they can create. I've never felt closer to Lucy than I did, deep breath, during the last 2 weeks of her life here. And I would so much be able to, instead of having you suffer from grief and anguish and anxiety, be able to create a beautiful, loving experience for both you and your animal companion. So that's what I mean by helping people prepare for pet loss. And if you have any questions, you guys know what to do. Put them in the comments. Let me know. I'm happy to respond to everybody. And I hope wherever you are, you and your animal companion are having a beautiful, amazing, blessed day. And I will talk to you all again soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.